Teachers, what's the most accurate but soul-crushing thing a student has ever said about your personal life? I've been teaching 4th grade English for 11 years, and in all those years, I have never met a child quite like Rocco. He is 8 years old, 4 feet tall, and possesses the dead-eyed observational power of a forensic accountant. He doesn't speak unless he has something devastating to say. He doesn't seem surprised by anything an adult does, which is its own kind of horror. He carries a leather pencil case shaped like a tiny briefcase. He uses words like efficacious in casual conversation. When I asked him on the first day what his favorite book was, he said, the financial section of the Sunday paper, and I still don't know if he was joking. His parents told me at orientation he was very perceptive. That was an understatement, and a warning I should have taken seriously. Last Tuesday, I decided we were going to revisit improper grammar, my favorite kind of low-stakes lesson, the sort where nothing could possibly go wrong. I had coffee in my favorite mug, I'd done my hair, the projector was working for the first time in 2 months, and the universe seemed to be politely staying out of my business. I wrote a sentence on the whiteboard in big block letters. Nobody never calls me back no more. The class groaned at the triple negative. Iris raised her hand and corrected it cleanly. It should be nobody calls me back anymore. Beautiful, Iris, I said. Then I caught Rocco staring at the board with his head tilted, the way a dog stares at a magic trick. Rocco, do you want to try another way to fix it? I asked, mostly out of curiosity. He sat up perfectly straight and said, you could change your number. The class laughed. I told myself it was harmless. Just a weird little kid being weird. I moved on. I wrote a second sentence underneath. I've been waiting on a man to text me for 6 days. This one was bait. I wanted to see who could fix the verb tense. Owen raised his hand and said, it should be. I have been waiting for a man to text me for 6 days. Excellent grammar, Owen, I said, marking the correction in green. Then Rocco, without raising his hand, said quietly, or you could just stop waiting. A few kids oohed. I took a slow sip from my coffee mug, the one that says live, laugh, love in chipped pink letters. I did not laugh. I did not love. I was rapidly becoming aware that I should not have written either of those sentences with a child like Rocco in the room, but I had committed to the lesson plan, and I am nothing if not committed to my lesson plans. Also, in my defense, I had written these sentences months ago, back when Rocco was just a vague rumor passed down by the 3rd grade teachers. Somewhere in the back of my mind, I started to register something genuinely uncomfortable. The sentences I'd been using as grammar examples for over a decade, sentences I'd pulled from old workbooks without ever really thinking about them, were starting to sound less like grammar exercises, and more like the personal ads in the back of a small-town newspaper. But it was 9:47 a.m. I had committed. There was no walking it back now. For the final example, I wrote a sentence I had used for years, the exact same sentence I had used with every previous class, with 0 incident. I ain't got nobody to spend the weekend with. This was the classic ain't double negative trap. Easy points. A safe ending. The kind of sentence a confident teacher uses when she wants to wrap a lesson with a win. I had probably said this sentence in front of 100 different children over my career, and not one of them had ever once blinked. It was the safest sentence in my arsenal. Iris went first, of course. It should be, I don't have anyone to spend the weekend with. Perfect, Iris, I said. I started to close my dry erase marker. The lesson was nearly over. The bell was minutes away. I was going to escape this room with my dignity intact. Then, against every instinct, against the warning sirens going off in the back of my skull, against the visible smirk now spreading across Rocco's face, I made the mistake. The exact same mistake I have made every time something has gone catastrophically wrong in this classroom. I said, is there another way someone could fix that? Rocco's hand did not even go up. He didn't need it to. The entire class had already turned in their seats to look at him, the way an audience turns to watch a magician saw a woman in half. He looked at me with the soft, almost apologetic expression of a child delivering news to an adult. Miss, he said, my mom says it's not really about the weekends.